Good evening, everybody. So we have been discussing different aspects of integrated healthcare at the education level, at the research level. Today we have a hard science to talk. And we are joined today by one of the renowned scientists, the director of National Institute of Immunology. I know everybody has been wanting to seek authentic information and science about immunology because we are living in a time, very challenging time of COVID. So Dr. Amulya Panda, who is the director of National Institute of Immunology at New Delhi, has joined us live today. Welcome, sir, to this program. I will formally introduce him to you. So for the interdisciplinary audience out there, we have requested Dr. Panda to be explaining to us and relating to us the impact of COVID in immunology, in the science, society, life, and in a very simple fashion. So I will introduce Dr. Panda. He's obtained his master's in chemical engineering from IIT Madras in '86 and has been working in bioprocess engineering for last 30 years. Those who are not familiar with bioprocess engineering, this allows one to produce drugs or recombinant proteins or insulin in a mass level so that more and more people can make use of it. And the cheaper this technology and the better we have our hands on this technology, we can make it cost effective and we can produce it in mass. So he's a specialist of that particular branch of biotechnology, even though he comes from the technology background of IIT in chemical engineering. And he has rich experience in all three major areas of biological manufacturing, which is called in the name of fermentation, downstream processing, and formulation of biologicals. His innovative bioprocesses and engineering skills, they utilize basic fundamental techniques of biology, which has significantly contributed towards the growth of plant cells and bioreactors for the production of secondary metabolites, and have reported the very first study on this high cell density recombinant fermentation process from India in 1995. And he has reported highest amount of recombinant protein expression among the earlier Indian studies, which basically means that particular technology that I was telling you, which empowers us to produce these important proteins or therapeutic proteins or drugs, if I may call in very loose language, in a mass level, in a cost-effective fashion, in a reproducible fashion. So this is a very important branch of biotechnology. So I am myself, when I was speaking to him, inspired by the importance of technology, which basically comes from our pursuit of biotechnology or fundamental core science, because that allows us to patent a technology, and patent allows us to license this to the industry. So that is an important aspect of knowledge economy, so to say. For that reason, he has, if I tell you in terms of publications, he has more than 145 publications, 37 patents, and 17 technologies. So from science to patent to technology. This is the process, a linear curve that follows a scientist, which is important for society and translation for society for human good. So in this particular introduction, I've tried to tell you what we are expecting. So those who are from our yoga field, from the Ayush field, please don't be scared, because we notice that he is able to explain these technical terms in a very simple way. So the talk that he's going to give us today is going to be impact of coronavirus on science, society, life, and immunity. So we look forward to hearing from him and learning from him. And Dr. Panda, this is our program being going on for almost 145 days. And we hope to learn from you, and to also my Ayush and yoga audience also looks forward to learning how they can innovate in their respective fields, especially because the integrative health is now part of the national education policy. And we hope that we gain and benefit from your talk. So now I'm going to close my video, but we'll all be here listening. You cannot see our audience, but they're all here listening across the world. Welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you, Professor Akshay. Thanks for a nice introduction. And let me tell you, I don't speak much, I don't know much about yoga and Ayush, but I know its importance. For me, yoga is all about controlling your oxygen. And if you think importance of oxygen, it's all about oxidative radicals. And that's how the cell physiology and body comes. I'll come talk about our Ayush Ayurveda. In fact, only last week, somewhere it published the best mouthwash. Somebody did a research taking the best mouthwash available who can kill coronavirus. And they tried all commercial available mouthwash. What they found strangely that one of the mouthwash which contained the extract of clove long is the best antiviral. That means if you take a long or a clove, chew it every day, the virus will be killed. It's something like our tradition. Eat food, take a pan with a clove. That's it. So these are many things. But what I'll do is today, I will not say much of data and things. I'll put you some of my thoughts. There won't be any internet caption like how many people are infected, what is the severity of infection. These are all available in Google. I mean, I was telling to Dr. Akshay, what you call knowledge is lost in information. No need to know. I'll share you some of my thoughts. But if you want to know exactly what is immunology, what is B cell, what is immunity, these are very common terms nowadays. You can check my interview in Eureka in Rajya Sabha TV I gave last one. But let me begin with all great adversaries teach you big lesson. वो कहते हैं ना बादल जितने अंधेरा होता है बिजली इतने ही चमकता है. It's as simple that. So what is important is to show your resilience, show your confidence, and learn from great adversity. Let me tell you one example. It was 1660. There was a huge pandemic in England. It's called bubonic plague. Many people died. The Cambridge University was closed. Everybody was asked, go home. So everybody went home. Many people died. There was a small boy. He was roaming around his home, sitting under the tree, but he was studying. And one nice day, he saw, while during those bubonic plague time, he saw the apple falling from the tree and he discovered gravity. And the rest is history. He is none other than Sir Isaac Newton. So what I'll do is, I'll show you some of the slides and I'll try to emphasize what we have learned. Is my slide visible, Dr. Akshay?
Yes, this is fine. Perfect.
Okay. So this is impact of corona and things. What I'll do is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll say what lesson we have learned. This is important. And for me, I'll explain you only this slide, 10 important lessons. First thing, it has taught us resilience and problem solving capability. You please remember, in last 7-8 months, the country who have understood the problem, handled the problem early, they are in better place. Please remember, our minister, Professor Dr. Harshvardhan, was roaming around hospital, airport from February itself. That means our government took a decision to control it, to stop transmission, and the problem what we are facing is very minimum today. We are 1,300 million people. Look at the infection. I'm not saying we are not infected, but the infectivity is low because we tackle the problem early and we understood, we work together. So the first thing is resilience. Second is you communicate and you share responsibility. I tell you, as a scientist, you must have seen during this pandemic, during this lockdown, everybody came together to help. Somebody was distributing sweets, somebody was distributing food, somebody was distributing masks, everybody. And in fact, in a scientific community, I tell you, last year, it was difficult for us to get a clone, a reagent from abroad. Now, all COVID-19 clones are freely available. I myself has got 70 clones expressing all the protein of virus. This was never happened. So this pandemic has taught, because it has infected all people, poor people, rich people, very rich people across the world. So it has told all be equal and share the responsibility. Otherwise, there is no things. The other things it has told is implement strict measures. You see, we are now forced to wear a mask because we're all scared. The same thing, if I will ask, in Delhi last year, there was a huge pollution, air pollution. The ppm level was 650, which is highly dangerous. Nobody used mask. Ideally, you should have used a mask that time. But now we are forced. We have to be strict. It's like Jamuna water. Why you allow the water to be so dirty? Then only you clean. Or it's something like you wait for the court to say. You follow rules. Whatever is needed to protect our environment. Unless you have very strict measures, I don't think anybody can do things. What we are today, because we are all following strict measures and we are using mask and things like that. The next is environmental effect. We know, see, in biology, your gene decides what you are. We inherit from our parents, but our environment decides what we behave. You look at it, how the water has become clean, not much of vehicle is going on, and there is clear sky, noise level has gone. Of course, we have started producing a lot of packaging waste and things like that. But overall, this pandemic has taught us that the environment can be controlled. You don't need to take your vehicle and burn petrol every day. You still can be alive doing it effectively, and that can be achieved in this time period. The fifth is it has shown ecological balance. Please remember, I'll show you a slide. This world is a beautiful place, not only for humans, but also for plants, animals, birds, and others. It's like the tiger lives in the jungle. If you clean the jungle, what will happen to the tiger? He will come to the cities and roam around. Same thing happened with this virus. This virus was living in a bat. And like we have our ecosystem, we have our gut microbiology, we have our gut microbiome. The bat has the microbiome. If we kill the bats, eat them, what will happen to the virus? It will go somewhere, and it has come to us. So maintaining the ecology balance is very, very important. When I say ecological balance, it's like a river. River is not a water body, it is an aquatic system which has phytoplankton, which has fishes, which has other living animals, and all these things has to be taken care. So the COVID has taught us that your ecological things has to be taken care. We now learn the importance of healthcare and quality education. Importance of healthcare, because the people who are really working in last 6 months are the tertiary healthcare workers and obviously the doctors and specialists. But really think of the tertiary healthcare, nurses, ward boys, people working in operation theater, people working on P3 facilities. They are important rather than the other people which we generally look. And education is important to tell them really we have a danger. So these two things it has also taught us. The other thing it has taught us is respect other form of life and existence. I'll show you after this how other form are important. Please remember, this world is not a place only for human. And please also remember, if there is no human, the world will be also a beautiful place. There are beautiful plants, beautiful animals, beautiful fungus, beautiful bacteria. They have to also live. This is important. I am sure you all will understand the role of a balanced life and disciplined life. That's what yoga and Ayurveda is. We have forgotten all of them. See, it's like, just remember when we got corona, we get 14 days quarantine. Exactly same times if you see a dead body or if somebody dies in your family. According to the rituals, we follow 14 days quarantine. We stay outside. We don't touch anybody. We take care of ourselves. We, in practice, we are told to wash your legs, clean yourself. Don't bring the shoes outside from home. Observe fasting, one in Sankranti or one in Amavasya. Don't drink, do all sort of puja in twice. I mean, it has been told if you do twice fasting, whether it is Sankranti or Amavasya, you will be basically making yourself much more immunologically stronger. We have forgotten that. I think it is important. And let me tell you, all of us who have followed our grandmother, grandfather's advice in childhood, who have done through the immunity cycle, are much more confident today. The last one is biomarker and health issues. In fact, if you analyze this disease, initially when the disease come, people thought it was only pneumonia because people are dying in pneumonia. Then they thought it is cytokine storm. Then they thought it is thrombosis. Now I'll show you data. It is affecting many diseases. And it is not sure. Please remember, the person who dies with corona is not dying from corona. Please remember, the person who is dying with corona is not dying from corona, because this coronavirus affect other vital organ, maybe brain, liver, kidney, reproductive system. That indicates in a particular society, suppose in India people are dying because of heart attack, we know our population is amenable to heart attack. Or some people are dying because of muscular disorder, their muscles are failed. Or some people are dying because of kidney failure, the kidney system is there. And that decides the healthcare and social issue in that country. In fact, this will be a good biomarker if you can very well analyze which type of people are dying of which disease and in which country. That will be a biomarker of the health status of that issue as well as the social status. Suppose people are dying of pneumonia, or maybe because of lung disease, that means something is happening to the respiratory system. Or some people are because of dying because of diarrhea, there is something happening to the digestive system. So this can be used as a biomarker. Finally, I'll talk about a little bit about vaccine immunity, but to tell you, these are my 10 learning lessons. Understand the problem, communicate, share responsibility, be strict measures, take care of the environmental effect, enjoy and apply or respect the ecological balance, take care of the healthcare, respect other form of life, follow a well-balanced life. I think my friends in yoga and I will be very happy. This is what is actually needed. And this disease provide a biomarker of our societal issues. If you see, now we are analyzing the death which is coming in Tamil Nadu and death is coming in Mumbai, or death is coming in Punjab are entirely different. So that indicates what is the health status of that particular state, their family value, their societal value, their food habits, their culture, their environment, everything. And that become a biomarker. Finally, I'll go to vaccine immunity. But before that, let me tell you 3 things about respecting other form of life or follow balanced life or biomarker. See, this is, I am saying, what are the expected, don't worry for the things. In the whole world, there are animals, birds, arthropoda, nematode, algae, fungi, bacteria, virus. Look at the below virus. 10 to the power 6, there are 1 million type viruses. Corona are only 7. 4 doesn't do anything. 3 are affecting. SARS, MERS, and COVID-2. You remember, see, one virus out of 1 million has caused so much of havoc. That means, and even if there is no animals, there is no human being, still this world will be made up of arthropoda, higher plants, algae, fungi, bacteria. So you have to respect all living organisms. Then only this world will be a beautiful place. This is the, you talk about immunity, and immunity develops, all I want to say, immunity develops from fetus, from the mother, from the early life, how you have taken care, the environmental health, how your grandmother has taken care, given you a oil massage or exposed to you of turmeric or exposed to you sunlight, does decides your immunity development. And because you grow with bacteria. Please remember, we almost all are born in sterile condition, maybe a little bit of bacteria from mother's womb, but when we all die, we die with bacteria and virus. In between life and death, this is the bacteria which control us. So the more you are exposed to other things, the more you have developed your immunity during your birth, childhood, and adolescence, that control your strength. And that's important. And finally, I want to tell you, recently this COVID has told, it is not only doing only the pneumonia, it is affecting the brain, it is affecting the renal system, hepatic system, gastrointestinal, thrombolism, cardiac, endocrine, dermatological. Basically, what this virus is doing is weakening your immune system, and whatever system your is in a damaged condition is not in properly functioning, whether it is your endocrine system or a cardiac system or a neurologic or hepatic system, it affects their, disturb it and spoil it, that leads to the death. With this, I go to the vaccine and immunity. I'll just tell a couple of minutes to explain you what vaccine is. These are the things. Let me tell you, yoga is all about air. If you don't breathe for 2 minutes, you will die. If you don't take water for 1 month or 2 months, you will die. Same way, if you don't take vaccine, by next season, you will die. As simple as that. This is the cheapest healthcare facility which has been developed by modern biology. And check, we all are alive today because in the childhood, we have all taken 7 vaccines: diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, measles, BCG, polio, mumps, rubella, everything has been taken. And that's why we are healthy. These vaccines, please remember, when you feel sick, you take drug, then you recover. But vaccines are taken to, are given when you are healthy, and mostly it is given to healthy people. And for last 400 years, people have been using. Of course, if you go to our culture, around 1200 century, people in Orissa, in West Bengal, in Andhra, Karnataka, coastal places, people, these Vaidyas used to be used tikas. Tikas are nothing but the old virus or the process of last year's smallpox they used to store. Basically, that is nothing in scientifically is attenuated virus. They inoculate next year and you become protected. But for last 400 years, we are using vaccine. There are 300 vaccines available, which are mostly for veterinary as well as humans. And as I told you, the most important things of vaccine is safety, because it is given to a healthy person. That's why you must be saying why vaccine is not coming. Because you need your, it may be curing your disease, but if it is not healthy, because you take only vaccine once, like you take smallpox, you take measles vaccine, or you make tetanus vaccine, you get protected because that antibody stay in your body for a couple of years, sometimes whole lifelong. Like smallpox or any live attenuated vaccine stay for centuries. Stay for 50, 60 years. So that's why vaccines are important and safety is important. That's why you take vaccines. But why it is becoming difficult to develop a corona vaccine? Because the virus is 7 months old. We don't know. Immunology is late understood. We don't know even how it is protected. Many people say, like other respiratory virus, it causes diseases. And one of the hallmark of vaccine is memory, because you only take vaccine once. This memory antibody response helps. Next time when you get infected, the memory antibody response immediately take care. Still now, nobody knows because we are 7 months old. Scale is very, very high. This is sometimes, every time you give tetanus, you give only kids, maybe 200, 300 million people. Suppose somebody develop a corona vaccine, we have to give it to 1.3 billion people. That is very high. And the disease manifestation and immunopathology is not understood. We may be producing antibody as a vaccine work, but you don't know what this virus does, what sort of diseases do to the respiratory system or to the hepatic system. Unless we become clear, we may be developing vaccine, but it may not work. And the last part is immunosenescence. Please remember, each living organism, including a human being, evolved. We all are evolved to live 60, 70 years. We become child, we become young, we become adult, become old and die. So accordingly, systematically, we develop diseases. And our immunological power, our tolerance power decreases with age, 60, 70. And if you don't follow rules, rituals, you'll be sick even at a younger age. That's called immunosenescence. So because of this problem, there is a problem of developing vaccine. But in spite of that, People have been developing vaccine. They are making RNA vaccine, DNA vaccine, recombinant vaccine. In fact, I don't want to go to nitty-gritty to many people, but let me tell you, till now, for each disease, we have one vaccine. Like for tetanus, we have one vaccine. For hepatitis, we have one vaccine. For rabies, we have one vaccine. Here, for the first time, for a single disease, there are 180 vaccines going on different trial. Maybe 3-4 vaccine will be there. And we don't know which one will work. But these are the things which are working on. But there are a lot of immunological enigma. I don't want to go in that. What I'll do is, in spite of vaccine, there are 4 things available. Number one, the left-hand side, you can take antiviral drugs. Like you must have heard people use remdesivir. This is used for HIV. Basically, it clear virus. The other 2 is you can use chloroquine, another thing to disturb. The other 2 things which are exactly available is C and D, where you can use monoclonal antibody. And the most important thing, the D, is you can use recovered plasma. You must have heard about plasma therapy. Plasma therapy is nothing. Plasma has the antibody. When a person gets infected and recovered, he has recovered because his body has developed antibody. That's what exactly a vaccine does. So if you take a plasma of a recovered patient, he has neutralizing antibody. And if you give that plasma to a person, this antibody will neutralize the virus. And these are the alternative modality available. But then coming back, what we have learned? We have learned respect all living beings. We have learned that this is the time, rather than investing money in sports, match, and other things, it is important the healthcare side and quality education should be given importance. Family values are important. This in the early, I'm sure you must have seen, in the early lockdown days, we are all scared. We are all disturbed because we are not able to go down, mix other, because we have started a habit of going and talking to others. We have stopped talking to our parents, our kids, our elders. This has lot. Nothing like having quality time with your parents, with your kids, with your family member, rather than going out and doing things. This is what we have learned. This is what, when you are alone, when you are locked down, we are forced to observe silence, solitude, and inner consciousness. It is time to understand yourself. It is time to ask question, what is there? As you know, everything is there. It's like a bird. It has the wings to fly. Only the intent has to be there. It's like a human being. We have everything inside. This only our intent, our desire to do something will take us anywhere you want. Finally, block transmission. We have learned till the vaccine come. Now there is a herd immunity coming. You can use mask, you can use physical distance and cleanliness. That is very important. Finally, I want to know, this is the old age story, what all our forefathers say. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is a place, it's for everybody. Everybody is a family. When I talk everybody, it's not only the poor people, it's also the plants, the animals, the birds. Everybody is a place, and we must respect all living beings, take care of them. Then this will be a beautiful world. With this, I'll conclude, but let me conclude with a signature. Your immunity is your right. I'm sure we all are scared. Do I get corona? Should I drink something? Should I treat myself? That is your birthright. But society immunity is also your duty. You have to see that you don't spread the virus. You spread nice knowledge so that people who are deprived, who are poor, who are illiterate, they also understand the concept. So your immunity is your right. Society immunity is your right. I will suggest, please do the right duty. This is our fundamental duty, to help ourselves and help others. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for a very comprehensive and enlightening talk, Dr. Panda. If you can unshare your slides, we can see you completely.
Okay. Let me.
Viewers have joined us from across the country and perhaps the world. And can I ask a few questions on behalf of?
Sure.
Yeah, you started with the mouthwash. You started with the story of experiments where people were comparing various kinds of mouthwash. Can you tell us, viewers, why is mouthwash so important?
No.
And why they take this study?
Yeah. See, actually, you have to understand, this is a this is a flu virus, like a common cold virus. But the difficulty with this virus is this not only affect the upper respiratory tract, it goes to the lower respiratory tract also. Most of the cold virus which get flu, they get in mouth and nose. But this virus has the capability to go inside. But to go inside, it has to first colonize in your mouth or nose. You know why mouthwash? Because if you clean your mouth, sometimes you drink tea, just increase the temperature of your mouth or nose by 1 degree, the virus will die. If they die, they will not colonize. Only when they colonize and start multiplying a good number, then only they will enter the lower respiratory tract. If you can stop the transmission from the upper respiratory tract to lower by cleaning your mouth, by inhaling steam, in fact, the best way is to put a drop of oil. We all do. You take mustard oil, put on your nostril and sleep. It's like the pickle. In pickle, we use mustard oil because this provides the most anaerobic condition. It's highly anaerobic. And in that anaerobic condition, low life will grow. So bacteria will not infect, all will die. So if you can clean your mouth and nose, basically you are not allowing it to go to your body, and probably you will be safe. That is the reason of doing mouthwash or a hand wash or even cleaning your nose.
Prevention of colonization in the mouth.
Yeah, that's what. You are a doctor. It is better to prevent. Don't allow it to go inside.
Yeah, and that study showed that clove or long was.
One of the studies says so that one of the component of clove oil is there in one of the mouthwash. I'm sure you must have seen during toothache and things like that. Doctor also said take clove oil. Basically, this is highly antiviral and bactericidal. So basically, the pain is because of infection. You are a doctor, you know that.
Excellent.
If you can reduce the bacterial load, you reduce infection. It's as simple as that.
So there are interdisciplinary viewers here. So questions are coming up. I can pose them to you. One of them
sure,
is,
sure.
Does drinking lots of water help flush out COVID-19?
No, it's not about drinking water. See, you must gargle with hot water, because I told you in the body, 1 degree temperature rise will kill the virus. So even if you drink a lot of water, it may go to your stomach, but if it bypass, please remember this virus go through a ACE2 receptor, and that ACE2 receptor is there. Most of them in small and large intestine. And many of you may not be knowing, there is a coronavirus vaccine available for dogs and cats. It is available in the market, and that is only for gastrointestinal effect. So that means this virus has the capability to colonize. In fact, it goes there, and so a lot of water drinking may not help, but gargle with hot water certainly help.
Correct. So there is another question which is a little tricky. In Hindi it says अग्निहोत्र सामूहिक प्रतिरोधक क्षमता रखता है, आपकी टिप्पणी. So he's talking about, we had one, just to give you a background, Agnihotra is, like a havan we do in the homes, and we had 1 or 2 sessions where one German scientist came and talked about Agnihotra and its antiviral effect. Do you think that it may help in community?
No. See, please remember, when you are putting ghee and putting a flame, you think of a Muni Rishi in picture. This tall flame is coming, and you are inhaling hot air, isn't it? So that is what I said. It will kill the virus in your nasal and mouth epithelium. That's what it does. All you have to do is to clean. Don't allow them to colonize. But I agree that maybe thinking from a Havan point of view, but scientifically this is the fact. A hot air steam will kill the virus. What is important is, in the name of yagya and doing sacred thing, the scientific principle was discovered some ages, 1,000-year age. I give you an example, Akshay. I am from Odisha, and if you go to Puri Jagannath temple, they say they cook food every day. They cook food, 60 tons of food, and they cook in wood and they cook in earthen pots. Okay, and they say the top of the food cooks fast, which is true. The top one, like in top of the chula, they keep one, 4 of them, dal, chawal, sabji. वो सबसे ऊपर वाला पहले पकता है. You know what is that? Must be. The niche wala must be water. It is causing steam. And what is cooking the top is latent heat of steam. It's a wonderful thing, but how they know 1,000 years back when there is no physics? That is important. That is our culture. We must learn.
Great. Thank you for that. And talking of vaccines, you mentioned that 100 and something, 60 plus people are trying to make vaccines. And now we heard about the Russian invention, and it has come out. Apparently the Russian president gave it to his daughter. I don't know how correct it is. Should we, can it be used for Indians as Indians?
No, I tell
have
you,
our own vaccine.
whoever, some vaccine will come one day. But the first thing is safety. Unless we see the data, we don't believe. See, please remember, I was talking to somebody, this is not a pathogen which causes a particular disease in systematic, like maybe diphtheria or measles. This is a respiratory virus, right? So the antibody the purpose of a vaccine is you make neutralizing antibody. That's fine. But you see, there is similar respiratory virus. It's called respiratory syncytial virus. When they develop the vaccine, they inject, whoever they inject, the small kids started dying. Because apart from providing antibody, this vaccine, this dead animal was blocking the airways, the respiratory airways. It was creating immunopathology. So you have to understand that angle also. So until those safety measures are taken care, and the vaccines are given only once, like a kid, it will affect its growth, it will affect its reproductive cycle also. Suppose something goes and turn wrong, his generation will be defective in particular gene. So safety is important. Whether Russian will work or American will work or England will work, we have to have our safety profile. Unless that comes, I will not appreciate allowing it, because we have to make safety according to our population. Our HLA, our genetics is different. So I think vaccine will work, but we have to be very, very sure that it is safety.
Right, very nicely put. But you also mentioned in your talk about immunosenescence. I think you were trying to tell our audience that as we grow, after a certain stage or after a certain age, the immune system versatility or the evolution aspect will die down. So,
Yes.
And that is why you also argued in your talk that the early vaccines are given early in the childhood. So they work for the entire life. So now this vaccine will be given to apparently and presumably to people who are adults already.
Yes, yes.
So how do you, keep...
See, that is one challenge. All vaccines mostly are given to young people. For the first time, see, when you do a phase 1, phase 2, phase 1 is safety, phase 1 is efficacy, but phase 1 is dose and age, when to give. So that is the dilemma coming. Do you want to give it to child? Do you want to give it to young people? Do you want to give it to middle-aged people or very old people? That has to be decided by doing experiment, getting results and analyzing. Then only you can say. And what happens, because as we grow old, like, when we are young, we used to eat a lot of food, 1 kilo mutton, or maybe I'll walk 10, 20 kilometers in one stage. When I'm 60, I don't do that, because naturally I have slowed down. My physiology has slowed down, because everybody has evolved to live certain age. And around 60, 70, particularly, our immune system is going to things we don't, unless we have rigorously practiced yoga, Ayurveda, good food. We have taken always fresh food. We have taken all season. Like I come from Odisha. In Odisha, back home, every season we eat different food. We have 6 seasons and different vegetable, different food. So that helps in developing your gut microbes that decide your disease profile, healthiness. So unless you do that, you will old. You see, we are alive here, one day we will die, and we will die slowly. And how much we die or how fast we die depends on how nicely we maintain our body. That is important.
Correct. So we are, viewers, we are talking of immunity, we are talking of antibody and vaccine. When we talk of vaccine, we basically talk of antibody. You can see on the right of your screen, next to left shoulder of Dr. Amulya, there is a insignia of National Institute of Immunology, NII, that shows the antibody at the
3
back.
antibodies are there. This is
One
a
of the
Y shape.
top institutes in our country, the National Institute of Immunology. So I would like to ask you, since you mentioned that the vaccines are important and versatility is important, and phase 2 will determine what dose has to be used and if it is safe, and there are phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trials. So very briefly, can you tell our viewers how is a vaccine made, very briefly and in simple terms?
Okay. So it's like somebody is causing a disease, it infect and produce antibody. Suppose you have a bacteria or a virus, it infect your body and it creates some havoc in your system and you become pathologically. So the vaccine is the dead version of that bacteria and virus. So the infectivity is lost, but the surface is there. So when see our immunity is does three things. Our immunity is a system in our body. It does two things. It differentiates from self to non-self. It's like घर में जैसे बाहर से कोई आया तो हम ठीक होते. So when somebody infect us, bacteria, virus, if you kill that particular pathogen, when it enters the body, it doesn't infect, but its structure, a dummy structure, give us an idea to our system, oh, something new has come. So in response to that, our body produces antibody. Anything external, whether it is protein or a carbohydrate or nucleic acid biological material, when it enters, it is not infective. It is called an antigen. And what the body produces to a response to antigen is an antibody that kills or destroys the antigen. That's what the vaccine works. In all vaccine, we get immunized, we produce antibody, which kills the antigen or destroys the antigen. It's like somebody is coming to attack you, you have weapons to destroy him, so you are safe. It's like that.
And then you said that those people who have survived and combated this antigen, as you say, the coronavirus successfully, as you also said in your talk, you take their plasma and directly use the antibody. How risky is that? And did I correctly explain what you said?
No, say it again, please.
I said that the people who have successfully combated coronavirus, who have recovered from COVID, we can use their plasma to use as a sort of a vaccine to.
Yeah, exactly. See, the old plasma therapy, see, please remember, this is 2020. Every 100-year one pandemic come. In 1918, the Spanish flu came. And that time also people have given plasma therapy. So basically plasma has antibody, a part of it. But plasma has other component also, depending on your HLA, depending on your, suppose you give the whole plasma. Who knows your plasma may contain HIV or hepatitis B or other virus. So the best way is purify the antibody and give. That's why plasma is useful, but whether it will act or not is doubtful. And again, you may be infected, you may have produced antibody, depending on your system, your antibody quality and strength determined. That is important. If you have a good titer, that will neutralize. But somebody has to decide the antibody are good, nice quality and nice type, then only it will work.
Great. A lot of people are listening with rapt attention. So I will now like to close with last two questions and basically your message.
Okay.
One, your message, and what do you think scientists like us, you and me and others watching, should do in this time? What should they be doing? Should they be doing laboratory science? Should they be patenting their technologies? Should they worry about the mass production, cheap production of vaccine or cheap production of, like you are mentioning, recombinant T cell culture activity that you want to produce T cell in a more cheaper way for the cancer patients? What should be the aim of Indian scientists in this current crisis?
No, I tell you, I'm sure you'll appreciate. There is only one objective of a science. Very simple term, betterment of humanity. As simple as that. You publish paper or you write a book or a file patent. These are all your personal game. But at the end of the day, we are a poor country. People are earning, people are struggling. We are doing in taxpayers' money. We have an attitude and duty to deliver something. So that's why I'm telling you publish paper for your own sake, your promotion, or you patent something, you get award so that you become a director. That's fine. Do. But at the end of the day, there is simply one. The beauty of science is betterment of humanity. Nothing less, nothing more. As simple as that. Until that reaches there, there's no use.
Excellent.
Because, I tell you, I give a very big example of Louis Pasteur. He was a fermentation technologist, but he was the immunologist to develop vaccine. He told one example. It's like science and application. There is nothing like that. It's like a tree. The root has to be strong. The stem has to be tough. The leaves has to be green. Then only to give you
Fruit.
fruits. That's all. Whether you want a banyan tree or a mango tree, it is your choice. But roots has to be strong. Basically, fundamental science. Then the whole purpose of a tree is to give fruits. If it doesn't give fruit, it gives you pure oxygen. It gives you chaya. Okay. So there is nothing like basic applied. It's all about doing something for the society.
And to translate this knowledge for human good.
That's all.
Betterment
That's
of.
all.
And what is your message for general public here who are not scientists but are either from the Ayush or from the policy administrators watching you, or just PhD students who are not from the...
I think, it's a time. I work in one of the topmost immunology institute. We have all state of art of science. But I think on the way, while we develop, we have lost that putting scientific validity to our old cultural practice of Ayurveda. You see what a vaccine does. Please remember, a drug kills the virus, right? We are all allopathic drug. You are a drug doctor. Don't take it otherwise. A drug kills the virus, but a vaccine clears the virus, right? Clears. Killing a virus, clearing a virus is different. Basically, what a vaccine does, I'll tell you, vaccine is a Ayurvedic, scientific way of Ayurvedic product. What vaccine does? It cleans your body. What our Ayurveda system does, it cleans your body because body has the capability. So there is no difference. For me, if you say I am a vaccinologist, basically what vaccine does, prevention is better than cure. That's how our Ayurveda teaches us. But what we have lost is, over the period of time, we have not put that scientific rigor and analysis to justify our Ayurvedic concept. We know certain things work. It's like, somebody will tell, we are eating Chyawanprash, do a clinical trial on Chyawanprash. Don't you think that is absurd? If Chyawanprash would have been bad, we are eating for 5,000 years. Our whole civilization could have been lost by this time. We would have not been healthy human beings. As simple as that. But having said that, it is time to analyze Chyawanprash with all state-of-art technology. Well, this is the immunity booster. It enhances prostaglandin reaction. It enhances your blood circulation. It enhances proliferation of your whatever it is. Put a scientific rigor and validity to our Ayurveda system. I mean, I always keep telling we have to be modern, but we have to be traditionally modern. Understand? Traditionally modern. Yeah. Because that is our ethos and that is our root. I think time has come now. I think government is putting a lot of budget on Ayush, whatever it is, because Ayurveda yoga cleans the body, and in all our great Puran and Granths, it's all about the body. It has the power to do everything. So why to take external things? I think, but as I told, more scientific rigor is required to make it justifiable and convincing.
So this is Dr. Amulya Panda, who told us the impact of COVID, the coronavirus in life, immunity, not just hardcore science, but to put it in very simple words, also gave a strong message for scientists of what they should be doing for the betterment of society. But he's also, as a closing remark, I would like to tell you, is the man who is now wedded to the mission of indigenizing the insulin production. And as some of you may not know, that a lot of insulin is actually produced or is actually imported from across the world, and we pay a heavy price in the form of foreign exchange. He is now aiming to produce insulin by using a not so traditional approach, by a very unorthodox approach of E. coli, which is a bacteria in which you can produce this in a very large quantity and also cheaper, so that cost will go down. And this is why he was talking about the technology, the science, and also openly talking about the value of traditional science if it is tested and if it is packaged in the molecular tools using sophisticated technologies. So thank you very much, Dr. Panda, for coming live with us and sharing your thoughts.
I really like.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye. Great.
Thank you.